Hi, I'm doing Paul McWhorter's Pico W lessons and I'm up to lesson number 80. I've already done a video on this, but it was using my LED class that I created for lesson number 64, which was a bit complicated because I allowed for blinking n times or waiting or not waiting, and so I thought I would do something a bit simpler. So I've stepped it down, not using my LED class, so it's a lot easier to follow. Now I'm also making it a little bit more difficult because instead of Paul's using red, green, blue, I'm using my little traffic lights, which is red, yellow, green, but the logic is exactly the same. So that first 7 lines are just setting things up, and the last bit is once you press Control C, you deinitialize the timers and turn them off. I'm only saying that so if I position it there, that is all the program that matters. Now, a couple of people I saw, they did it very well, that they weren't holding up proceedings on the green timer or the yellow timer, but on the red timer they still had sleeps in, which wasn't great. But Scott had a wonderful program, but I looked at it, I thought that isn't quite right, and I tried to leave a comment. Well, I did leave a comment, but I doubt anyone would be able to understand it. So I thought I'd do this video and explain exactly what I'm doing, and then maybe Scott will understand my comment or not. Now, if you're blinking an LED on and off 5 times, for example, the obvious thing is to put it on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. Do I need another on, off? On, off. You don't start with it off, because otherwise you go off on, off on, off on, and then you'd have it left on, which is why I have put all of the LEDs on before I start. Then take the yellow timer. This wants to be on and off for 1 second, which is why yellow P is 1000, because it's in milliseconds. So yellow timer, you set up a periodic timer with the period of 1000 milliseconds. And so what it does is the yellow is on, the yellow timer you set, it waits for 1000 milliseconds, and then it goes into here and it toggles it, which works perfectly, absolutely perfectly. And the same thing as for the green one, which is 10 seconds. It is on, so it waits for 10 seconds, then it triggers the timer and off it goes into the green blinker, and it goes on, off, on, off, on, off. So brilliant. The thing that is a bit more complicated is the red timer, and this is what I said to Scott, because he set the red timer up as periodic with I think the period of 1 second, which is like red P up there. But that isn't what you want to do, because you want it to start doing whatever it's doing straight away, while his program, it started off the red, and then it waited for a whole second before it came on, which isn't what you want it to do. So what I've done is I've got a one-shot timer there. So it's saying, okay, the red LED is on, I will wait for however long I want it to be on, and then I will call red blinker. Are you following? Hopefully. Then you toggle it off. So that's done exactly what it wants to do in the beginning. It's on for the length of time, and in this case it's 0.1 per second. Then you say, can I do a periodic, can I set up a periodic timer, or does it have to be a one-shot timer? Well, according to me, it has to be another one-shot timer, because you're here, you've got to this line here, and at the moment the red LED is off. So then you have to say, well, I want to wait for the off time, which, if you look up here, the off time is the total cycle time times, sorry, it's the, if the on time is 0.1, then the off time is 0.9, which is what it does there. So it's saying, hello, the red LED is off, therefore that is not true. You go down to that. So then it says the period that you want on your one-shot timer is your total period, which is 1 second, minus the period that you have it on, which is 0.1, so that period comes to 0.9, which is exactly what you want. So then you set up a timer, a one-shot timer, to say wait for 0.9 of a second and then call red blinker. Then it goes back into here, and the first thing it does is it goes red LED.toggle. So it was off, it's now on. And now you say, hello, is it on? Okay, if it's on, I want the period on my one-shot timer to be 0.1. And so it keeps flipping from, if it's on, you set the period to 0.1. If it's off, you set the period to 0.9. If you get my drift, because otherwise, I'm sure other solutions will work marvellously, apart from the initial, the line down there, line 34, that you've got this big wait before. Anyway, I don't know whether this will make any sense to anybody at all, and maybe I'm just being a bit pedantic saying that if you are blinking an LED on and off, you have to have it going on first and then off, and then it mustn't have any extra time in the beginning. So let me know if this makes any sense whatsoever.